Modern women turn their backs on boss babe lifestyle.
I'm 28. I'm going to be 29 in April next year, so not that long left. Not that long left. I'm going to be 29 years old, and there is not a single soul on this planet who wants to be the love of my life. Where the f are you, please? Where are you? Because I am sick of this. I'm sick of the streets. I'm sick of everything. At this point, I might just, I don't know, maybe change sides. What's going on, please? Tell me. What's going on?
They're in your past, darling. They're not just sitting there in your friend zone. They've moved on to conquer new mountains. Man, that guy's toxic, bro.
I woke up and I look at my phone. I don't have any messages. I've just realised.
Leftover women are becoming more and more prevalent in the current world because of feminism and gynocentrism, particularly in Western nations. Recently, I read an article in a newspaper about how this began in the East, and it talked about unmarried women in their late 20s and early 30s who prioritized their education and careers before romantic relationships. Many of these women are consequently left alone in their mid-30s or early 40s, only to learn that financially successful men increasingly choose younger women and shy away from women who are overly involved in their jobs.
What if I don't need him to take care of everything? What if I have my own too? Why should I take it?
And that's great. I'm not mad at you. Go for that. But guess what? In America and in North America in general, women are the ones who are dying alone more than ever. So we can say this stuff and say, I'm going to take it. Go ahead. No one's going to stop you from making your choices. But then also don't complain when you hit late 40s or whatever, you don't find somebody. And I'm like, listen, have you guys been settling on the shit that doesn't matter? And they say, no, I'll never settle. Yep. You know, there was a study that came out, bro. And the study said, I think it polled like 300 women, 300 men. And it asked the 300 women, if you asked the 300 men, it said, if you had 80% of what you wanted from a wife, would you take her? And you guys are like, fuck yeah, that's amazing. Ask the same question to ladies. 80% of what you wanted, they were like, I will never settle. 80% of what you want.
They're more interested in climbing the corporate ladder. As a result, just as in most of the Western world, women blindly adhere to the feminist philosophy and act like boss babes without ever considering the importance of males in their lives.
Women, if you're out there and you're looking around and you've got a list a mile long and you're saying, well, guy has to have all of these things, you could meet an incredible guy who happens to be 5'7", okay? Incredible, checks all the boxes. If you're going to be that type of woman, by the way, that says he's out, you better be bringing something to the table that's incredible. You know what I see? I see a lot of women who have a body count of 25, party phase, all this stuff, bad behavior, not feminine, I don't need a man, and still meet that guy, that incredible guy who's 5'7", who's given them time, which they shouldn't, and they're like, oh no, he's too short. Because women feel like they have all the options in the world. Guess what though? You don't.
Older women are consequently unhappy since they are already at their breaking point. Currently, women are forced into careers they loathe, are intimately familiar with the harsh realities of the job market, and, most importantly, find it dreadful to consider reaching the end of their prime. Most women cannot accept this last statement because of their societal training, despite it being quite telling.
You're false advertising if you're single and you're sleeping with 2 to 3 guys at once. First of all, that's nasty. That's nasty. We can all acknowledge that. Imagine, like, I mean, this girl, how many rotations of that does she have going on too? Right now, there's 2 to 3. In 6 months, is there a different 2 to 3? In 12 months, is there a different 2 to 3? And then they get mad when you use the words ran through, but come on. Come on. So it's false advertising. Let's say she meets a nice guy, right? Not a partier, you know, good guy, wants to do right by a woman. And she says to him, I'm single. You think that guy's going to interpret that to mean single, but juggling 2 to 3 girls at once? Let me tell you something. If you are assuming that, then there's a cultural rot going on that's so deep, because that would never occur to me. Somebody says they're single, that means they're single. That doesn't mean you're juggling 2 to 3 at the same time, in the bedroom, no less. Nasty.
Women are being misled by schools, the media, and the entertainment industries into delaying marriage and having children, while simultaneously being encouraged to pursue other goals, like pursuing an education, a profession, or even many partners. By the way, the word partners refers to flings rather than long-term relationships. You'll discover more about these ladies in today's movies, including why they're unhappy and resentful, and why you should avoid them at all costs.
So I'm at his house, I sit down to take a poop, right? I go to wipe. There's no toilet paper. I'm like, damn. Hey, babe, could you please grab me some toilet paper? He said no. I already told you that bathroom's out of toilet paper. Sorry. I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot you told me this bathroom's out of toilet paper. Regardless, could you please just run downstairs and grab me some real fast? He said no. I already told you, like, you're gonna have to figure it out. Like, I told you already. And then he starts ignoring me. Like, I'm like, hey, please, please. He's just not responding. Like, he's just ignoring me. I hear his phone, like, scrolling through fucking videos. And I get pissed. I'm like, okay, well, if you're not gonna go, I'm gonna start screaming for help. Like, I'm gonna start screaming. He's still ignoring me. I go, help! Help me to the neighbors. Because I'm like, bro, I need help.
I think that most men would agree that her boyfriend not wanting to give her toilet paper in this situation is a huge red flag. Because good men that love you will go beyond what they would do for themselves because they love you. And in this situation, who knows the full story, because there's always 3 sides to every story. Bottom line, whether that's because you treat him terribly or because he just enjoys treating you poorly, is that that man doesn't care that much for you.
They're deluded by feminist propaganda. The most extreme forms of feminism claim that as women rise to the positions of CEO and important decision makers in large corporations and governments, they can live fully and freely. This claim essentially ignores the fact that the woman will eventually begin to feel as though she is rapidly approaching the age at which she will no longer be able to bear children, and that feeling will gradually affect her. She will also find it incredibly hard to find a partner as she ages, because men prefer younger and more feminine women.
Alright, let's see what the internet's mad about today. She's in her wedding dress, she's dancing around, and he's not noticing. Okay, caption reads, 9 years married today, failed challenge. I'm guessing by the laughing emoji that she intended this to be lighthearted and funny. And according to the comments, that makes her a dumb, ignorant woman who doesn't understand how toxic her marriage really is. Divorce, babes, divorce. People have divorced for less. I feel like you should check his phone. Check his phone. The man's fingers aren't even moving once while he's looking at it. He's not texting nobody. She told him, I'm gonna go get ready. So he's like, all right, I'm putting the game on. Y'all, she shared a 15-second clip. You have seen 15 seconds of a 9-year marriage and have unilaterally determined with all the confidence in the world that it is definitively not a worthwhile union. That makes you look kind of stupid.
Social conditioning is incredibly harmful and potent. Modern women who fall for it will go to any lengths to protect the beliefs they hold dear. In actuality, they simply combine it with the information they've received from institutions, important figures, and multinational corporations, with little regard for the pleasure of women.
You had a viral video recently on TikTok where you were giving some dating advice. What were the tips that you offered in that video?
So I would say the very first one was don't complain about cheating if you're willing to stick around for it. You either shut up and move on and learn how to work through it or leave. But I think the one that pissed most people off is that I said men have it harder in life, especially financially. But I was talking about in dating 100% I feel like men. And yes, I know like what I compared it to, I was like, you know, like men can't just sit here and bust their coochie open on OF for 10 grand a month.
Here's the most important part, guys. Modern women have become so intolerable for most of us that the best choice that men have now is to just walk away. From having an endless list of expectations that men have to fulfill, to looking like a Greek god, making money like Jeff Bezos, and banging like some adult film star, the demands are frankly becoming delusional. Women want what they want and when they want, and even they don't know what they want all the time. So why bother? Why waste your time, energy, and resources? Walk away and thank us later.
Whoever fought for women to get jobs. Why? Why did we do that? I am so tired. I want to just put my feet up. Like, I am... Oh my god.
It's Susan B. Anthony, man. Everybody, like, puts her up on a pedestal. She ruined it for all of us. Somebody said, we drown so CEO boss babes can swim. Somebody else said, bro, I was literally talking about this today. Like, they are going on the list with Eve. Right, like, at the moment, I'd rather be a stay-at-home mom and do chores. Yeah, well, shocker. That's what we're kind of designed to do, honey.
Even if every woman became traditional and meant it, the damage they've done is irreparable. Generations of kids are brought up by being plopped in front of a computer and fed cheap slop. Those kids grow up without the self-discipline required to live life. Not to mention they sold all the land and business they got in divorce, so most people are now indentured servants. What has it taken to get us where we are today? 30+ years of women shaming, ignoring, falsely accusing, blaming, trashing, abandoning men only because we are men. You forced men to adapt to the world of not being needed or wanted,
This is my homestead's famous pecan pie recipe. Now this pie is only for special occasions, like when you want a better allowance or if you want him to let you see your family. I consider it a peace offering. See what I did there? Today I used my special recipe cards. My husband doesn't like when I use text, so I used the FontSart app to type the recipes in my own handwriting. I found it in the App Store. How nifty! But remember, this stays between you and me. I think this pie and I have a lot in common because it's homemade and I'm a homemade. But if we're being honest, submitting to your husband's rulebook really is easy as pie.
Guess what, ladies? We men have done what men have done since the beginning of time. Adapt to a changing world. The world you ladies have molded and changed all by yourselves. We have adapted to the world you have built where men are not wanted or needed by you. Fortunately, we men have adapted to understand it's okay for us to save and spend our money on ourselves any way we want, especially when it doesn't include risking it all being married to you. We fully understand the world you have built has released men from the societal expectations of us risking everything as we tried to build a foundation for our families, only to be destroyed by your boredom and your courtrooms. Only time will tell how many decades it will take for society to swing back to where men are willing to risk everything we have in an attempt to form a bond with you. I think it's obvious that societal swing won't be happening during any of our lifetimes. Never forget, ladies, you asked for where you are today, and you insisted on it. As the old saying goes, be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. Enjoy your life alone. Okay, let me see if I got these choices correctly. Get married, have kids listen to the endless nagging, and always be told it's my fault by my partner who says we are equal. And after about 10 or more years of listening to her endless nagging, it starts to slow down. As in the nagging because now she's going out with her friends. That's code for going to the bar and checking out other guys with her single friends. Then one time when she was drunk, of course, she and her friends went to a guy's apartment to have after-bar drinks. And of course, there's other guys there whispering into her ear, and because she cut you off from segs about a year or two ago, she decides that it's your fault that she won't give you sex. And the next thing you know, you getting a divorce because she doesn't love you anymore. That's code for she has a new lover. Women keep looking for the perfect man and ditch the good men who are successful, good-looking but not models, but still better than average, come from decent backgrounds, are educated, have good personalities, and are building their businesses and jumping the corporate rungs. When these guys are ignored and women go for that on in a million guy, it hits their egos after being ignored time and time again, and they swear they're never even going back into dating because dating is not their cup of cake anymore. This is one of the major reasons why men are walking away from dating. Unfortunately, most decent men nowadays don't want to be friends, speak, interact, or socialize with women in general. However, all women are not affected by this, and the vast majority of women can barely get resources from us men because they are now struggling financially and possibly destitution for a long period. Also, women cannot function or survive without a man because they need attention and validation from men daily. And that is not happening, for they can't reject guys and use them for free drinks, food, pay their bills, and rent especially for fun these days. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.